So on this channel, we check out a lot of lore-friendly cars for GTA 5. Lore-friendly meaning that they work within the lore or the story of GTA 5. So it has the same brands that you would expect inside the standard game. So we get things like Cheval or Dinka or Vapid. And there's one company that Rockstar recently introduced in the last couple of years, and that is Rune, which is based on the Lada, or just generally any Eastern European or Russian car. And I was a big fan of that car, and I wanted to see more, and thankfully we have mod makers to give us more, because today we have this. This is the Roon Chopin, or the Chopin, or the Chopin. I'm not entirely sure how that's supposed to be said, but it's either Chopin, Chopin, or Chopin. Again, if you want to try and guess how that's supposed to be said, Chopin. Bearing in mind this is supposed to be Eastern European, so perhaps wouldn't be said like Chopin. But this is, I think it's based on a Lada Samara. This front end looks very Samara-y. And then we get around to the side, and this kind of like a bit, it kind of looks like an old Volkswagen Passat. There was like the ones from like the late 80s, I think they were. And then on the back here, this looks like an old Vauxhall. This looks very General Motors. But this whole thing looks like an absolute piece of rubbish, a complete economy car. And so for that reason, I love it. Because I love all this sort of boring stuff. Or supposedly boring stuff. To me, not so boring. I actually think it's awesome. And there's actually a few tuning parts for this. So let's just go ahead, drive up here slowly. This thing is not fast. Let's drive up here slowly to a car parking space and have a closer look. Wow, this is a serious long climb to get up this. I don't remember this ever being this long. I don't think I've ever driven a car that just struggled this much to go up a hill. Okay, I parked up to this because I love the juxtaposition between the two. But let's just take a closer look. In fact, let's just first of all, let's just open up all of the doors. Okay, here it is with all the doors open. We have a... Excuse me. We have a semi 3D modeled car. Just a basic engine stuck in there. Is this... What? He literally drove up here, went round, and then back again. That was... I don't understand where he went there. And then we also have all the regular doors here. Very, very thin pillars. But of course, this is like a Soviet car from what I predict to be the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Although not Soviet after the 90s, 2000s. But based on a Soviet era and then continued to be built in Russia. Or just Eastern Europe. And then we also had the boot. Pretty basic. Pretty roomy though, actually, considering. And then on the rest of the interior, we have these rear seats. Very basic. Very basic. But then I'm very happy with basic. That's what it's supposed to be. We've got this old style dashboard. We do actually have quite a fancy looking dial cluster, considering the sort of car that this is. This is very sort of like French-German 80s. Actually, also I'd say, also General Motors, I'd say that time. But we do have the stereo and everything else in here. And controls, and it is a manual transmission car. Right, let's close all those down, and let's just take a quick look around. So, of course, this is like a Lada Samara. This looks very basic. This looks like the sort of car that I would probably want to build in automation, because I just like building cars like this. I just think they're really fun. But we've got a plastic bumper here. I don't think this is actually tied to the secondary colour, so this is just always plastic. And actually, from now, I've made it so that all cars spawn in red on primary and green on secondary, just so that we can better see, because sometimes in the past I've shown secondary colours and you guys have not been able to tell, so I've changed that up a little bit. We also have this trefoil badge as well. Not sure what that means. And then we go around the back. These lights do look very General Motors, especially with this plastic thing here. It looks very like Vauxhall Belmont, Vauxhall Astra sort of thing. But we have the Roon Chopin, Chopin, however it's said. That was more French than Eastern European. 1.6 as well. Got our downwards pointing exhaust and our steel wheels. And we have some tuning parts. So let's just go to vehicle options. Let's go to menus customs. On the spoiler, we have, of course, because this is a Rune, because this is a mockery of Russian cars, we do, of course, have the cardboard tuning parts. So we got the cardboard spoiler. We do actually have a ducktail, which is pretty interesting. We have a plastic low-level spoiler, which actually I think matches with the shape of this car really well. It would have been nice if we could have had a plastic ducktail as well, that just looked like a bit of molded plastic on there. We also have the low spoiler, which is the same as the plastic, just in body colour. We also have the GT spoiler, which again just does not look right on this car. And then we have the high spoiler, which, although the angle sits right, it doesn't look right at all. So I actually think I'm going to go for the plastic low spoiler on this one, because I like the idea of where they take these old Russian cars and then they try to make them sporty and put like a sports model out where they just put like a rubbish kit and a spoiler on and stuff. That's definitely a thing that's happened with Russian cars. So I kind of like that look, so we're going to go for that. On the front, we have the cardboard bumper. We have the intercooler, or is that actually that's more like an oil cooler, right? That's a very small intercooler if it was one. That's more of an oil cooler. We also have this one, which is maybe a bit more intercooler-y size, but not really. This is definitely still oil cooler. Then we have the twin fogs, or the two fogs, the four fogs, so the two twins, and then the two twin rally fogs right there. So 3 different styles of rally look. And I kind of like the idea of this one, because again, I think it adds to the Russian interpretation of a sporty look, so we'll go for that. Then on the skirts, of course, we have the cardboard skirt, so we could actually get the full cardboard kit here. And then we also have custom skirts with a very weird texture in there. That looks kind of strange. The thing is I don't think we're going to get these bumpers to be color matched, so I think this is going to look weird. Although if we can change it, I'll go back to this. Oh, we do have some exhaust options. Okay, so we have the stock. We have the straight steel. We have the straight titanium and the straight burnt titanium. And I like this. I like that we have different options for materials. That's always nice. We also have this in double, which also gives us a nice double slot on the bumper, which is good. And then we also have the upward right there. I'm going to go for the upward titanium right there. Then on the chassis, we're going to get the roll cage and upgrades. And now you can see what I mean about the green on the secondary colour. Now you can properly see where the secondary colour lies, even though it does look quite gross now. But this actually goes through the dashboard as well. I'm not going to go for that on this one. I'm going to go for that on the second build. Then on the hood, we have the cardboard vents, of course. We have the hood latches. We have different variations. There we go. And that's it for the hood. Then on the fenders, we have some black rubber mud flaps. Just there on the front and rear. As you can see, another cop that's decided to come around here. Why? I don't know, the AI is weird sometimes in this game. And then on the roof, we have a cardboard vent, of course. Then we have the crossbars, so we can actually get a nice roof rack going. Or we have a full-on roof rack in the secondary colour with wood slats as well. Again, I'm going to be changing the colours in a minute. It's just so we can definitely see these easier. Oh, we actually have 6 levels of engine tuning. I'm curious to see if this actually makes this any faster, because it is really slow. Then on the suspension, we have, I'm expecting lows here. We got lowered, we got street, we got sport, we got competition, and we got race. That's actually so low that it's cutting through on the front. I don't know why that exists. We'll keep that on competition. Then on the armour, well, we don't really need any of that. We never touch that. We'll do the paints in a minute. Windows, we go for a tint. There's no extras. We go for a turbo. Okay, let's just go back for paint. And I'm thinking something gross. Something like a brown. Actually, to be honest, browns look nice on some cars, and then on other cars, they look terrible. But I kind of like the idea of having this like beach brown, and then, or beechwood brown, and then in classic, we might just do that in black. I think that'll fit. I don't actually know what the style is that I'm going for here. This is kind of a weird build. But I've noticed that we definitely can't get rid of those plastic bumpers. As much as I like plastic bumpers, it's a shame, because I'd have liked to have matched that side skirt, or at least had the option for the side skirt in like a plastic colour. It just looks a bit off that way. Do we have anything in Benny's? We have air filters. Oh, this is just going to be boost upgrade. I don't know if this adds anything. No, it doesn't. Okay. And, well, I guess we should go for some nice wheels to bling it up. Let's get some wheels that definitely look like they cost more than the car. Okay, we'll go for these because they sort of remind me of rotor grids or whatever. So we'll go for those, even though they are sort of like T37s. Actually, these ones don't look too bad. These ones are the ones that feel a bit more rotary, so I'm going to go for those ones. As I don't think someone with this sort of car would actually fit T37s on, because they do cost more than the car. Good God. And then, well, V-Stancer, I don't really need to change anything, but I've noticed that the back of this car is lower than the front, and that is terrible. Always a terrible look. However, I think that actually suits this car, so I'm going to Make that really sag on the rear, and maybe I'll just tuck that wheel in. There we go. Maybe we'll get it a little lower on the front, but not too much. I just want like a terrible fitment. Yeah, I think that works. Well, this is a piece of junk. I want to do two more. I'm going to do a rally one, and then I'm going to try and actually do like maybe a cool stancy one. I'm not sure how it's going to look, but I don't actually know what this build style was supposed to be. This is weird. It is actually quicker though. I'll give it that. It's not crazy fast, but it's faster, which is all we can ask for really with this car. Now, if I try to go back up this hill, it shouldn't be so much of a struggle. Okay, we're definitely getting up there quicker than we did before. It's still not that fast. It's still struggling a bit, but it is faster than before. And again, that's all we can ask for really, because before was just terrible. And it's spitting flames as well. I tell you what, you've got to love the way that GTA spawns in cars sometimes, that we just get just a load of the same car parked up. What a look. That is just stupid. Right, let's just now do these next two builds. And, well, here's the first one. Now, I didn't go for the rally thing that you were sort of expecting. I've gone for the Paris-Dakar style. I've made this an off-roader. So I've just gone for the rally style lights on the front. I've jacked it up on the suspension. I've gone for these big knobbly tyres and off-road wheels. I've made it look very dirty. I made it white just because I wanted to go for a sort of standard car colour, but I went for a crazy red on the roll cage, and I also went for this little rack on the roof and a burnt titanium tip, just because I feel like that would match this sort of like dirty race car look, like it's a well-used exhaust. And I actually jacked up the height of this the proper way, so it is actually a little top heavy. So now we can actually take this off-road. There we go, it now fits in its environment. There we go, that works. I mean, it's not very fast. In fact, I haven't actually tuned the engine on this one, so we can see just how much it struggles to go up this hill. It's going to do it, though. Okay, it's actually doing it. Right, once I get over this hill, I'm going to get down the other side, and I'm going to try and make a stancy show car one. Well, I made it over the hill, and I don't know what happens. Oh, I was expecting it to topple over. That's actually quite good. Okay, this is very... Actually, this might add some character to it. Okay, it's still going. Well, that definitely added some character to it. I think this is a bit more Paris-Dakar Destruction Derby than regular Paris-Dakar. Although, who knows, maybe some terrible event happened along the way and this happened. Oh, and here we are, out on the Great Ocean Highway, the Pacific Coast Highway. Yeah, well, that's got loads of character. Okay, let's make the tuner version. Okay, so I decided to go a little bit outside my comfort zone here. I'm not really ever a fan of this sort of like black and colour look, although I know a lot of people are, so maybe this will appeal to people. But I just wanted to go for something sort of like very budget, but also crazy, and then not so budget. So I've actually gone for like the full cage, which is definitely not so budget. And then I've gone for what is supposed to be banded steels. I mean, it's the closest we can get. It does look like a split rim version of a steel wheel with a polished edge, but I decided to go for that. And because I couldn't get a colour match on the bumpers, I decided to make the rest of the car matte grey to match the bumpers. And it sort of ends up looking like a rattle-canned look with some green details. I definitely think there's some people that might dig this. But I decided to make the build a little interesting, considering this car is pretty interesting in itself. But there we go. That is it for this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please let me know by, well, just leaving a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have watched the entire video, you can also say Nelson's General Store in the comment section below, just to let me know that you watched the whole thing. But right now, as I look, it's currently 32 degrees inside this room because we are currently having a very, very hot day in the UK right now. Very hot, so I'm going to finish up this video. So there we go. If it's hot where you are, I hope you're keeping cool. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're drinking lots of water. And in fact, that applies to anywhere in the world, whether you're hot or not. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on Monday. Goodbye.